Welcome, guys, once again to the MMOs.com podcast. Alta here this week for episode 153. I'm joined by... What are you doing?
Omer, and this is the ASMR MMOs.com podcast.
Oh my god.
All right, enough of that.
All right, well. Yeah, you know, I am seeing a proliferation on Twitch of especially girls with this stupid mic that has like two ears on the side. You know what I'm talking about?
The headphones or
No,
the mic?
it's a mic. It's a tubular mic, and on each side, it's a horizontal tube, and on each side is like a white plastic ear. And I think it is the creepiest thing ever.
I've never seen this. I have no idea what
Really?
you're talking about.
Just
I don't watch the ASMR podcast, so.
Just scroll. Happy birthday, Erhan. Thank you. Yeah, it's my birthday on Thursday, guys. So this is the last day you'll see me before then, I guess.
Before he hits the big level 30 and gets the job change, all right? And then he gets the dad job. No.
Dad.
It just,
No, dad just yet. Just old
no
man.
dad just yet. Old man job change.
Alright.
Too old for esports job change, you know? Esports career dies when he goes 30, all right?
Dude, esports career dies when you're like 25.
Yeah, it's kind of sad though, isn't it? I just feel like that's one of the few things you can only milk for like a few years. But fortunately, with the rise of streaming, you can still make a good career out of streaming.
I am not buying that microphone. All right, guys. No matter how much you donate.
Thanks again, Elon and Etherville. And all right, I'll take it away. The usual goodies.
All right. Well, as you know, the big story this week and still going is E3. We got a lot of E3 stuff coming up.
Oh, Altai, I'm gonna quiz you. What does E3 stand for? Go.
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
All right, you got it.
Yeah, it's an old one. E3's been going on since we were kids. I remember reading about it like in those like Nintendo Powers.
Electronic Gaming Monthly was our. We were Nintendo Power kids. We were Electronic Gaming Monthly kids, and we used to look forward to that magazine. And E3 was like this special celebration. Like that's real talk. When we were younger, we would look forward to E3 so much because every new game announcement, like, we were mega hyped for. When you're younger, like every game announcement is like amazing because like you just played everything you could get your hands on. You know, nowadays, we try to put our time towards less games. We like to play them more.
Yep. And so okay, here's a funny thing about E3. I was actually watching a few of the press conferences live over the past few days, but apparently it officially starts today. Everything before today was like the companies just holding their own conferences on their own, I guess. So apparently it starts today. It runs till the 14th. But like I said, a lot of the big press conferences are already over, including, Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix, Ubisoft.
Nintendo,
yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. We can't talk about the rest. It's going on right now as we're speaking. Not a lot of MMO news specifically, except I guess if we
Black
stretch...
Desert?
Black Desert for Xbox, yes. They actually released a really interesting trailer. They tried to make it a story. Like, I remember... I played Black Desert, right? And I was watching this trailer. I was like, well, when did all this happen? Like, they're trying to weave a story, and maybe I'll find that video while we talk. But so what are your thoughts of E3 of what you've seen so far in the press conferences?
I mean, MMO wise, it's been a bit light, but it's pretty fun. I watched it with a couple friends, and there's a few games I'm excited for. Earlier today, they announced Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. It's weird, but I think Mario Party is still a really fun game. Though the earlier iterations really sucked, like the ones on the Wii and the Wii U where you were all in the same vehicle. It was awful. I was glad to see in the new Super Mario Party that they're going to go back to the old system that you saw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, where everyone's kind of on their own thing. That looked pretty hype. New Fire Emblem game looked interesting, but mostly Fallout 76 was the kind of MMO-esque style game. That was really the only MMO style game that was really discussed. So a little hype for that.
Yes, and this is gonna be a big departure for Fallout. And I saw this live, and I remember when they announced there was gonna be multiplayer only. In the chat on Twitch, people were like, "No, oh my God, why?" But those people should keep in mind that this is a side game. It's not gonna take away from the Fallout, numbered series, I guess series. So don't go too crazy. It's like a side game. It's gonna be online only, and I think they're going for like a Rust kind of gameplay. The servers.
I think they're more so going for like a Fallout experience with the story-driven gameplay, with the quests, with kind of like a Rust thing added onto it. It becomes almost like a side thing. They want to make a co-op game where you can just play, basically get the Fallout experience, but in a co-op setting, just with more people, make it a little more,
Well, no, it's gonna be PvP. You can kill each other.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And you still do the quest and stuff. Yeah.
but there's no living NPCs. I'm not sure what that means. There's gonna be like robots, but what's the difference? I mean,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I think they want to kind of have a co-op versus a small group versus small group experience.
Could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched the video as well. I'm like, what, in the Black Desert video, you seeing the background? Like, like, what is this storytelling? Like, there was no, it was a ready, set, go, grind game, and like I don't remember any story in like almost no story in Black Desert Online. But they made this trailer seem like it was this epic story-driven experience, which it most certainly is not.
Yeah, you guys can't hear it now. I had it muted, but if you are interested in what I'm talking about, just search Black Desert Xbox E3. It's a really funky little trailer, and trying to make it like it almost seems like a single-player RPG from the way they present it in that trailer, which is kind of amusing.
Somebody said E3 was more mad. I was more excited for G-Star. I think G-Star gets a lot more MMO news because it comes out of Korea, and they make a lot more PC games there as well. And basically, America's still very big in console games, so E3 is very much console-centric as well.
Yeah, you're right. Almost everything I saw at E3 was console-focused, which I'm not a huge console guy. But there was one EA moment that I found particularly drama-esque. I like drama a little bit. So they announced a game called Command & Conquer Rivals. I don't know if you saw this.
I actually missed this one. I saw a lot of the E3 presentations, but I didn't see the EA one. Actually, I saw a lot of the EA one, but I didn't. I missed the reveal for.
Okay, so here it is. I'm playing it on the video here. So it's a mobile game. It's a 1v1. It's kind of like Clash Royale, but instead of up and down, it's horizontal. You send these units out. They fight in the middle. You take over this territory in the middle here. And when they showed this online, I remember the chat was going crazy, like, "Oh my God, how could they do this to Command & Conquer? Rip Command & Conquer." EA is like shitting on their grave, pissing on their grave. I went to Reddit, same thing. People like, "I can't believe they're doing this to Command & Conquer. How could EA sink so low, etc." And Omar and I grew up playing Command & Conquer. We played Tiberian Sun back in the day. We played General, which was a lot of fun later on. But I thought the funniest take on this was this clip I'm going to play right here. So this is Total Biscuit's account. I guess it's being run now by his wife. He passed away. Total Biscuit passed away from cancer. I'm just going to play this very short 14-second clip. We can talk about it.
You know what? I am so... This is going to sound morbid, but I am so glad my husband is not here to see this. It would destroy him to see CNC go this way.
That's a powerful statement. So she's basically saying, Total Biscuit, is dead, so you can't see this atrocity, and that's how bad it is, to fans of the series. So nobody could say this but her, obviously, But it's crazy that it's getting this much hate, I guess. So do you think it was smart of them to use the Command & Conquer this way, or should it just be like a new franchise, like Tactical Commander?
Here's the deal. Look, I'm actually kind of insulted as well by this, but the reality is that this is probably going to make money. I mean, the reality is they're like a lot of people that are complaining about it, myself included, are never going to spend money on this game because we kind of inherently just hate these kinds of games. These pay-to-win mobile strategy games are just awful. And we're not their customers. And I think they realized we're not their customers. I think EA realizes that
that's true,
they
though.
Can't possibly hand it to us.
If that's true, what my question was, should they have used a different franchise? Like, why couldn't they just make a new franchise? Why did they use Command & Conquer for this?
I'll tell you why. Because not everyone, like plenty of older people that played Command & Conquer, like maybe they're like maybe there's a lot of more casual people that are our age, maybe a little older, that the Command & Conquer brand resonates with them. I played this game when I was younger, and maybe they'll get into it. It still carries some weight. Because the people, no matter what franchise name they used, the people that are complaining about, hurting the Command & Conquer brand, were never going to play it anyway. So this was not a traditional Command & Conquer game. It's not trying to be, and I hate it, obviously, just from what I'm seeing. But it's going to make money. I think they know what makes money. They know that Clash Royale mints money, and this will probably end up making money as well. It is definitely kind of insulting to longtime fans of the franchise, though, for sure.
I usually make fun of people who take these kind of things too seriously. Like, they're making Command & Conquer for your phone. Who cares? Get over it. Don't play it.
Yeah.
But even when I was watching this live, one of the presenters after the trailer came back on stage and he's like, "Oh, isn't that great? Command & Conquer for the next generation, amazing." And even I winced at that. This is a sign you're getting old. This is a sign you're getting old because I feel like this generation, if this is their Command & Conquer, they're getting shortchanged. This is not like. Your parents always say, when we were kids, it was so much more fun. We played it in the woods. You're just sitting on your computer. But now we're saying that to the kids today. How can you compare the experience of a mouse, keyboard, this a monitor right next to you, playing online with all your friends? How can you compare that to this? You're gonna be flicking your thumb, your one finger, and just paying to win, and not communicating with anyone.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no chat here. There's gonna be no voice chat, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be maybe a clan feature where like once a day you can like trade. You can like give them cards, and then you get like a bonus for doing it, and you can request one card. That's it.
The sad part is this is only the start of a trend. I think Blizzard will make a game like this as well for mobile, using probably the Warcraft franchise or some kind of strategy game. Whether it'll be like Clash Royale, whether it'll be like Clash of Clans, or whether it'll be like this remains to be seen. But I think they said they were working on a mobile game already with one of their franchises. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this, unfortunately. But I think the good thing about this is that it's pandering to a different kind of audience right now. So we're still getting a lot of real games from Ubisoft, from EA, from Blizzard. So this is not really encroaching on PC territory that much, so it's no big deal. But eventually, like 10, 15 years from now, I think this is going to be the mainstream. Wasn't one of the Ubisoft executives didn't say the next generation of consoles will probably be the last one?
That's another thing worth talking about. So yeah, the CEO of Ubisoft said after the next generation PS5 and Xbox 2 squared or whatever stupid name they go with, that's gonna be the last gen, they say. And this was a pretty controversial statement. Even in our Discord, I had a conversation with people. So what do you think about that? Do you agree with him on that? I personally, I think I'm inclined to agree with him because remember,
it has to be. Look at the device you carry in your pocket is getting more and more like powerful. I think the average iPhone, if you buy a new iPhone today, it's more powerful than like the average person's PC.
Yeah.
Especially the average person's laptop. I mean, these devices are getting so much stronger, and there's no point in making separate devices already for gaming.
We've been saying that for a while, but we've been wrong. But I think it's finally getting there. It's finally converging. And remember, what he's saying is not anytime soon, because we have at least 2 years left in this generation, right? Mm-hmm. And the next one is probably 10 years, right? Each gen is.
Yep.
So he's
still a while to go.
Yeah, 2030 is the time frame the Ubisoft guy was talking about. So it's not like right around the corner, guys. You don't have to worry about that. But I think it's definitely possible.
Indeed. Everything's going mobile though.
Yeah, people mentioned in chat like download speeds. But remember, in 2030. When 5G has rolled out, I think the download rates and caps are going to be much higher than they are now, so that'll be less of a problem.
Just a quick thing out there. Do you consider Fallout 4 to be an MMO? I know some people will be triggered by that terminology.
Fallout 4? No.
Not Fallout 4. Fallout 76.
Yes.
I don't know why I said Fallout 4.
Yes, it's multiplayer only, online only, and you fight other.
There's only like 16 players per shared world though.
Well, if you go on Steam, I can find you a lot of MMORPGs that have less than 16 people online right now.
Because I'm Googling right now. There's a Games Radar wrote an article saying Fallout 76 is an MMO. But here's why it could be the one for you. MMORPG.com said Fallout 76 is indeed an MMORPG. And it sounds pretty great. So a lot of people are calling it MMOs already. I don't know if it's an MMORPG, but it's MMO. MMO definitely. Because at least it's always online. That kind of makes it more, an MMO. But I'm curious how the shared world is going to be. The thing about Rust was you had so many players in a world, which made it very exciting. But if you only have if you have these smaller encounters, I don't know how that's going to play out.
If it's online only and multiplayer only, it's an MMO. All right, that's very simple, guys. I mean, I don't know how people can fight this definition.
Yeah, who knows? Should be spicy nonetheless.
You know what's okay? So MMOs are not popular right now, right? It's like a death word in the industry. So there's a new term that these guys use. Shared world. Okay, whenever you hear that, it's an MMO, guys. I'm sorry to tell you.
So it's a shared world experience is just a code name for MMO, right?
Yes, that's my take on it.
Anthem is also launching somewhat soon. That was also from the BioWare EA presentation. Mm-hmm. That looks pretty fun. I think it'll be a lot like Destiny. They got a release date for it now too. I think it's February 22nd, 2019, if I remember correctly. It's the first time we got an actual release date for it, and it looks a lot like Destiny. So there you go. You have another Destiny-like game. But probably with better storytelling because it's BioWare.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Remember, the main guys, I think that at least the founders, they left BioWare years ago.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll see what they do with this. Again, it's going to be developed for console first, just like Destiny. So I'm not super excited about it, to be honest, just because of that.
Yeah.
I think there's too many compromises you got to make for that format. So not my cup of tea, but I will try it.
Personally, there really wasn't too much in E3 that I was personally too excited for because there was not a lot of MMO stuff. I mean, there was a crossover event for Final Fantasy 14 that Square Enix announced, which is a Monster Hunter World crossover. but there's like no details about it just yet. So I don't know. It just there's been crossover events before, and they're not really a big deal anyway. So on the MMO front, all you really have are I guess a shared world experience of Anthem and Fallout 76, as well as Black Desert coming for consoles.
I got one for you.
2019.
Okay, guys,
Late this year for that one.
let's have an argument about this. Is this Battle Royale that's coming out, Mavericks Proving Grounds? Is this an MMO? It's gonna have 1,000 players,
Yes,
right?
that one is definitely that is 100% MMO. Like more like with PUBG and Fortnite, you can I think there's a pretty credible argument that it's not an MMO by any stretch. But I think with Mavericks, this was revealed at E3 as well. The actual gameplay trailer was announced before, but they're going for 1,000 players in a single game. It's gonna be a battle royale game with 1,000 players. You can group with squads of 5 at once. So 1,000 players, I think, pretty clearly fits the concept of massively multiplayer. It's pretty massive at 1,000.
Isn't these definitions funny? Like, so if 100 is uncertain, right? Like Fortnite, and 1,000 is obvious.
To me, it's obvious, but some people would still say it's obviously not either.
Mm-hmm.
But very few MMORPGs give it 1,000 players on the screen anyway.
Yeah.
Like more than 1,000 would be playing other parts of World of Warcraft. But to be in one zone, I don't know, like one map.
Yeah, I wonder where the line is for to qualify for massively for most people.
There are some elements of the game that are persistent. I think they said there's some social elements in there that were persistent, which was kind of cool. They are going for some kind of RPG elements there that stick with you to keep you playing. I forgot what those were exactly, but beyond that, it's still just gonna be a battle royale game.
All right.
So people are saying it's not an MMO for me if it's not persistent, but because this is based on rounds.
But even persistent, I mean, nothing lasts forever. Eventually, the servers decay and shut down. So is it 1 day of persistence, 1 year of persistence, 100 years of persistence?
And some elements, again, are persistent. At least it'll keep track of a bunch of goodies. And that'd be some unlocks as well. If there's like some progression with unlocking, like would that make it persistent enough for you? Because like a lot of games do that, like today. So maybe you can like unlock some talent or something if you play the game enough. Like that, would that be persistent enough to make it an MMO? I don't know. But I think this will do well because we've seen a lot of battle royale games, but like one of the biggest things for battle royale games for me has been, why are all these games 100 players? I think PUBG and Fortnite would be much better games with 200, 300, 400 players.
Well, they can barely manage
more
100.
exciting.
They can barely
That's
manage
true.
100. So I think it's going to take time. So the secret sauce in the video I just showed you guys, Mavericks Proving Grounds, their secret sauce is they say they're using Spatial OS, a name we've heard many
Quite
times.
a few times already.
Yeah, so that's I guess whenever they're asked a question like, well, all these other companies are struggling with 100 players, how are you doing 1,000? They just say, well, easy, Spatial OS. Just plug that in, and you're good to go. And so far, we haven't actually seen anything full release with Spatial OS. The closest we have is Worlds Adrift. So we'll see how that does. But this is a promise that we've been following for 2 years now at least, and still still no proof in the pudding, but just more hype.
And they actually said that they're gonna have an MMORPG style hub, so there'll be a persistent world where you can walk around, some kind of hub for the game. So that also kind of leads credence to some kind of persistent elements. Should be interesting. And there'll be persistent progression in the game as well too. So the first beta for this one is gonna be coming soon apparently. You can sign up for it already. But I'm hyped for the reason, just for the sole reason over 1,000 players game seems pretty hype.
Yep.
So personally, my battle royale game of choice over the last week has been Realm Royale. I've been playing quite a bit of that over the last week, having a lot of fun.
Yes, Realm Royale. Even I've been having a lot of fun with it, and usually I play these games for like a minute and I'm done. Realm Royale is a lot of fun. It's really well done. It does something I like, which is it gets to the action. It doesn't take too long. Like I felt that PUBG, the map size for PUBG is too big. For a map that size, you need like 1,000 players. But Realm Royale is closer to Fortnite's map, which is smaller, so you can get right into the action. But no building, which is good. The building's annoying in Fortnite.
That's right. So a lot of the reviews on Steam is like Fortnite without the building. Hell yeah. A lot of people don't like the building in Fortnite, and they can play this game instead. I've been having a lot of fun with this one though. It's been my game for the last week. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch and a lot of this. Have not been playing too many MMORPGs this week, mainly because not really too much for me doing Final Fantasy 14 right now. I'm waiting for new content, though I've been doing some dailies and stuff. So I've been playing a lot of this and Overwatch mostly.
Well, all right. So Realm Royale is doing really well. I think on the Steam charts, it's pretty high up there right now. Let me check.
It peaked 100,000 this weekend. It's getting like 80,000 today because weekdays will be a little bit less. I think by next weekend it'll be over 120,000 concurrent.
Yeah, it's number.
I am optimistic on this game. I'm very optimistic. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. This game is actually mega fun. If you haven't played it yet, I say give it a try. They're not paying me. I hope they were, but I strongly recommend playing Realm Royale. Even if you're kind of burnt out of battle royale games, this one's actually really fun.
Yep. Yeah, number 4 on Steam. I think it's going to keep going up. It's free to play.
Mhm.
So good game. Would
Give it
recommend.
a try.
We did play it on Friday after we failed to get Bless working. Actually, we did pretty well. Usually we do pretty shitty in these games, but
I've won quite a few games. I think
Yeah.
my average game, I get quite a few kills. I'm actually very confident in my gunplay in Realm Royale versus other battle royale games, much more so. So I'm always eager to play Realm Royale.
yeah, and that's a good point. Someone Rise 4 in chat. High Res is really quick to copy other popular trends. They deny this, but I think it's worked well for them. Paladins initially was something very different, but then they changed it to basically copy Overwatch. And then when Battle Royale came out, they just spun off Paladins into this Realm Royale. This is a branch of Paladins, and they're very quick to do this.
Better than Paladins do.
Oh yeah, they'll do better than Paladins. Yeah.
I'm very confident in this game.
It's a good strategy. I don't know why people hate on them. It's basically the Chinese strategy. You wait till someone comes with a big trend comes up, and if you're quick enough, you can grab second place.
The key is you make a functioning, well-running copy. I think literally on early access day 1 for Realm Royale, the game ran much better than PUBG for me.
Mhm.
So the game runs beautifully. I mean, there's still a lot of bugs and glitches, which will be fixed hopefully, but the game just generally runs pretty well, pretty reliably.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Anyway.
with that, all right. You mentioned you're not playing Final Fantasy right now, but something did happen in Final Fantasy this week. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, pretty good story. Last week we mentioned the new Final Fantasy Ultimate Raid, which was the hardest content in the game. It was designed for the hardcore players, and it was cleared between last podcast and this podcast. So it was actually cleared in 6 days. There's a clip
Whew.
showing the fight down there.
That's quick.
So it's interesting because it's pretty quick considering the first Ultimate Tier difficult dungeon took 11 days to clear, and both. So I know before we talked about whether MMORPGs got easier. Did boss fights actually get easier, or did actual information improve over the years? And obviously, a bit of A and a bit of B, because obviously we have more information to strategize today than we did back then. But just like a few months ago, with the release of the first Ultimate Dungeon, it took 11 days to clear, and that was with basically people playing 12 hours a day. And that's actually pretty, maybe underestimating. A lot of these teams were playing probably 18 hours a day or 16 hours a day. They would sleep, wake up, and play this all day until they beat it, and it took them 6 days to clear it. Which is, obviously the content is difficult, but it came out to be a little bit easier than the last one.
And if we recall, guys, we made a bet last week on how quickly this would be beat. I said it would be less than last time, and you said it would be over. So
you won, yeah, panned out.
Thank you. So that means you're buying dinner today.
It looks that way. But throughout the process, I had a lot of fun watching the progression of these of the streamers basically go through the process of clearing this. Because even if you don't want to commit to 20 hours, like look, you can call yourself a hardcore gamer, but like at a certain point, like to beat this kind of content on release, you would have to spend like at least 15 hours a day for basically 6 days to be the world's first. That's pretty crazy. I'll probably attempt this content later, as the guides come out, make it a lot easier for you to learn. So even I'm not that hardcore, and I don't think you are. Maybe when I was younger, I would have loved to like maybe try be one of the world's first, but a little older now, so a little hard to commit like 100 plus hours into doing this. But I loved following the process of some of my favorite Final Fantasy 14 streamers go through this, and it wasn't just me. We saw Final Fantasy 14 was one of the most watched games on Twitch during the week of this release. It showed a lot of casual players following the process as well. The forums were watching it. Reddit was watching it. It really got the Final Fantasy 14 community together to kind of cheer on their favorite streamers and see the process. Maybe like theory craft. Like even the people that weren't participating were kind of theory crafting on optimal strategies and stuff. And I think it's really healthy for the game. And I hope to do more stuff like this in the future, which I'm pretty sure they will.
What if you have a life? Yeah, I mean, that's another problem with getting older. You just don't have 100 hours. Most people don't have 100 hours to plop in 1 week into figuring this out.
Sometimes it's not easy in Bahamut Ultimate. From what I'm seeing, actually, this looks a lot easier than the previous Bahamut Ultimate Coil, because it just seems like the nail fight in Ultimate Coil just seemed like more difficult than basically everything in this fight so far. But that's just my observation from watching the streams, obviously. So I mean, I can't say definitively, but the fact that, in fact, not only one team cleared this, 2 teams cleared it.
Wow.
Within I think the world's second was I think on the same day or the day after. So the fact that you have multiple teams already clearing this, while it took 11 days to clear the last one, I think it kind of points out to the first one what's quite a bit harder. But yeah, it's now we gotta wait quite a while for the next one. But it was a really fun experience just watching them. And again, I don't really watch Twitch streams, but I was kind of glued to my Twitch screen watching some of my favorite streamers prog this content. It was mega exciting for me. This is the kind of Twitch content I'm excited for. Just seeing new content like this. It was always hyped to see the next phase. Like, what's he gonna do next? Can we get past where we got last time? See what abilities are coming up. It made it mega interesting for me. But yeah, they did it. They beat it.
They did it.
They done did it, boys. Now, guys, we gotta talk a little bit about we talk about MapleStory. I want to talk a little about Bless as well, but maybe MapleStory first because I thought this was pretty hype actually. So Altai, have you seen the MapleStory lab servers?
I have not.
This is for MapleStory 1. So I linked you the announcement over here.
Okay.
So for a limited time, you can play on the lab world where you can experience different concepts and try out new systems. Try out a hardcore game style where your character's level and stats will be reset after death.
Oh
How
my
cool
God.
is that?
It's hardcore
That's
mode.
actually there's a hardcore mode in MapleStory. How awesome is that?
That's pretty funny.
Where you will literally reset after death. So I guess what Nexon is trying to do is basically add some different rule sets. Like they did the reboot server with different rule sets, and it's been a big success. And the reboot server is the most popular server in MapleStory by far. So what they're trying to do right now is mix and match different concepts to see what works for them. I think this is going to be really smart because I think a lot of people like old school MapleStory. Maybe they might make a MapleStory Classic server where you'll have the pre-Big Bang rule set, and maybe they'll find a mix and match of different rule sets that end up working. And we talked a lot about this concept of different rules for servers with the idea we were pitching earlier with player created servers or community made content. But this could work as well because I think MMORPGs are the perfect like playground to really tweak the numbers. Where maybe you can have a hardcore server in World of Warcraft where all the bosses hit harder or have it's more hardcore, and you can have more casual servers. You can have regular servers. It gives players different ways to experience the game, like different flavors for their game. And I think it's really smart. I would love to see this in other games as well.
I think a lot of these older games, they still have a very dedicated user base, and they got to do stuff like this. Like even WoW is working on a vanilla server. I'm surprised next time waiting this long to do stuff like this. There's a lot of big MapleStory private servers now too. So like you said, I think a pre-Big Bang server and other ideas are are necessity at this point.
I mean, old school RuneScape, is huge. Like playing up with other like concepts. Like as your game evolves, you still should play around with other ideas. And old school RuneScape was just basically using old concepts. And classic WoW, I think is gonna be a tremendous success. And I think after classic WoW, they might realize, okay, if classic WoW does well, maybe other variations of World of Warcraft could do well as well. Maybe if we took a different path after Wrath of the Lich King and did different things, the game could have done better. And you could just tweak these numbers and see what works. And the beauty of this is they're basically saying that if the servers don't work out, we're shutting them down anyway. Your character will be lost at the end of these tests. So it's a cool way for players to test out concepts and report their feedback back to Nexon. And Nexon will see what works as well based on player feedback, as well as numbers they see on their own. But this seems I actually really want to try this. I'm going to try the permadeath mode in MapleStory because like MapleStory has always been like if you die, back pre-Big Bang, dying was kind of a big deal because if you died, you lost hours worth of grind where it took forever to level up. Nowadays, it's not nearly as bad unless you can lose experience when you're much higher level. Then it's a bigger setback. But nowadays, before like level 200, you're not really losing anything anyway. So it could be mega fun. I really like the concept. And mocks will be stronger. Their loot will be better as well. There's so many different ideas you can get from this without even creating new content. Just tweaking XP gain and stuff like stat loss and stat changes. That alone, you have so much creativity unleashed over there. You don't need custom content. You don't need new maps. Just play with the existing maps and numbers, and it could be awesome.
Well, and the fun thing about a server like this is you're gonna have a big user base kind of going through the content together at the same time. So you'll find people around you, your level, each step of the way. The gear you find will be useful. Maybe I don't know if there'll be trading. Hopefully there is. I know on the other new servers they don't have trading. What was it called?
Yeah, reboot.
Yeah, which was a shame.
The concept of no trading, I absolutely hate it. I know Bless has like this weird no trading system as well. You can only sell items in the auction house, and there's like these fixed prices the same way Black Desert Online does it.
Yep.
I hate that system. They do it to combat gold sellers, but it sucks the lifeblood of an MMO. Like you're killing the experience if you get rid of trading that way. It's really bizarre, and I hate it. But it is what it is. And you do get rewarded on MapleStory if you play on these test servers. your main character on other servers get benefits as well. So it's not like you're doing it for nothing.
That's good.
This is probably the most hype MapleStory news I've heard in a long time. I mean, new classes, they're always excited to go back and play new classes in MapleStory, but this could result in some really cool concepts. Like, I would love to see a pre-Big Bang server just for the nostalgia sake. And what's bizarre is you have private servers on MapleStory already today, private servers that run pre-Big Bang rule sets and that are hugely successful. So like, Nixon's letting these players go elsewhere. I mean, Nixon should capture those users as well.
Mm-hmm. And one more piece of Nexon news. I don't know if this qualifies, but Lawbreakers is going to be free until it shuts down in September.
It's got a couple hundred people playing it right now, but it's shutting down for sure in September, though.
Yeah, so if you haven't played it and you want to give it a chance, a shot, a look, to know what the fuss was about, now's your chance to do it for free.
MapleStory 2 news as well. Little bit bittersweet because MapleStory 2 is getting a second round of closed beta testing. I say bittersweet because we can play MapleStory 2 again soon. Bitter because it's not going to be an open beta, unfortunately. Because I was kind of hoping for an open beta announcement, because it would have made a lot more sense, because school is basically going out soon, the summer's starting, the kids will be home, it's the most optimal time to launch your game, and they're doing a second round of closed beta testing. So the second round of closed beta testing will be open to many more players. They said double the players of the previous closed beta, and there will be a wipe, of course, after closed beta 2. And hopefully open beta launches shortly afterwards. I'm still betting that we will get an open beta release sometime late in July, is my guess. Mid to late July. That's my guess.
I say way after that.
But the game ran really well in closed beta 1. They said the biggest problem was they had some like server issues with that many players. And they want to make sure they fix those before launch, because obviously many more people will be playing open beta than closed beta. And I love the picture on there for the closed beta 2. It's like, give me more MapleStory or Riot than that amazing picture. Very silly picture.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like the summer is also, you're right that kids are home from school and stuff, but it's also a very competitive season. You got a lot of games coming out, a lot of MMORPGs coming out. So
and they're going to show up their Founders Packs as well. I mean, they're talking about Founders Packs already, and I think when they release their, when they announce closed beta 2 dates, they're going to also include Founders Pack sales. And when they include Founders Pack sales, they're probably going to mention a release date as well. So going to open beta date, because maybe they might do a head start program as well.
Yeah,
so once we learn about the Founders Packs, we'll learn when the release is coming out. And I still think late July we'll get it.
Okay, all right. I say okay, then I'll bet
after that.
After that, I guess. Sure.
All right. But this is actually the game this is the MMORPG I am most excited for, and I've been more excited for this than I was for Blast from the get-go. I mean, from my experience with the closed beta, I had a lot of fun with it. It was a different experience. I didn't want to commit too much time into it because it was getting wiped. With closed betas, I'm always kind of hesitant to really go ham on them, because I feel like if you go ham on a closed beta and then closed beta 2 comes out, you go ham on that as well. Like, by the time the game actually launches, you really get burnt out of that early experience. You don't want to do the early experience the third time again. So I'll probably play the closed beta for a bit, but I'm going to reserve my try-harding or mega playing till after open beta launches.
Yeah, when you think about it, we've already done the main story quest twice now. Once on the Korean version, once on the first closed beta. If we play this, that's a third time. Then we play open beta, that's a fourth time. So, at some point, you got to just wait.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Bless, you got to go with Bless for a second here. Got to go for Bless. So the game's player-based numbers are still in perpetual decline. Still had a lot of issues with the game. We've talked about it quite a bit in previous podcasts. It's definitely been a bit of a disaster of a launch. They get about the 24-hour peak now is about 12,000. Every day the 24-hour peak has been going down significantly. Like 1,000 players are dropping off in the 24-hour peak basically every day with the current trends. So numbers have been going down quite a bit. And I noticed something from our last week's attempt to play Bless, maybe worth mentioning, about maybe why the game is still poorly optimized. So basically, my brother wanted me to copy Bless from my computer, my hard drive, onto an external hard drive, so I can give it to him, so he can install the game faster, right? So he doesn't have to re-download it on his PC. So what happened was I started copying, and I look at, holy shit, Bless has I mean, I knew it was a big game. It was like 40 gigs, but it's not even just how big the game is, because the game has like over 70,000 files, which is pretty insane. So I'm linking that right now. So there are actually 72,523 files within the Bless Online folder on Steam. So what that means is every individual notepad file, every individual game file, every exe, every art, image, everything in that folder is 72,000 files, which is absolutely bonkers. A modern day MMORPG should not have that many files. Because what happens is when you're trying to copy a game or any basically directory from to an external hard drive or anywhere else, you are limited not just by how fast your hard drive can copy it, right? You're limited by how many files there are, because when you start a file to copy, it has to go down the list. and you can only copy so many files at once. So the biggest delay wasn't the file size; it was the sheer number of files. And just for comparison's sakes, I looked at my Final Fantasy 14 installation, which is it's a pretty big game. It's over 10 gigs. I don't know exactly how big it is, but it had 120 files. All of my Final Fantasy 14 folder was 120 files. MapleStory 2 was 350 files. Obviously, there's different levels of optimization. You don't know. Sometimes they let files build up on there, but a modern game should not be 72,000 files. That is just bonkers level insane.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I agree.
And what's really bizarre is there are so many files in there that are utterly useless. Like there are like basic Unreal Engine files in there, .ini files, which have no bearing on the game. If you open these .ini files, they're basically like player camera movement, WSAD. Like reload button is R. Like there's no reloading in Bless Online. They're using a lot of the default Unreal Engine like setup, right? The default Unreal Engine setup is R will be your reload, and like H will be like change character. Like it has all these basic FPS style like control schemes built into in your Bless folder right now. There are control schemes for FPS games because Unreal Engine is really good with FPS games. So it's just really bonkers and weird that it all makes sense now why the game runs so poorly. You have 72,000 files. They have no idea what they're doing with optimizations. They have no idea what they're doing with the game design as well, because how many crazy patches we've had, basically nerfing everyone by 70%. There's another patch this week where all the mobs got nerfed by 20%. Like you go across the board changes left and right. They just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a clip I want to show you, which I thought was pretty funny. It was on the Bless subreddit earlier today. So this is some endgame dungeon. They kill the endgame dungeon with a group, and just watch the video. This is the loot they get.
Where did you link it?
I linked it to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Oops.
You also haven't linked yet anything recently to me.
Yeah, my bad. Let me link to that. First, this is the image for the file size. First, show that, and then show the Bless thing.
Okay. Oh, 1 sec.
Take a look at that bad boy.
Yes, here we go. 40 gigs with 43,000 files. That's way higher than
72,000 files.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, 72. I was looking at the bytes for some reason.
Yeah, that's a very big number.
Big number, boys. Bigger than BDO is 6,000, which is still a lot, but obviously a lot less than 72,000. Yeah. And they're about 10%. Similar size on the hard drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm watching.
Look at the end game progress. Put the audio up. It's beautiful.
Okay, I'll go back. All right.
Go back. Audio, go.
Oh!
Oh!
What'd you get?
Keep your pants on. Keep your pants on. Cause we're splitting a gold bar 5 fucking ways. Let's fucking go.
I'm actually so salty.
So I don't. Okay, so is a gold bar just shit? Like, what is a gold bar?
It's shit.
Oh, okay, shit. And it's just boss fight?
Yep.
Wow.
So the endgame fights are really bizarrely designed. There's like a 1%. There's such a low chance that loot will even drop, like a gear will drop, and to get the gear you want is like 0.01% chance to like get the gear you're looking for. And only one piece of gear dropped. It's not even guaranteed. So at least when you do like raiding in Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, and a lot of games, you guaranteed like at least a couple drops. Here, you're not guaranteed anything. So you have to actually run the dungeon so many times to gear up. Where I think one guy posted he spent like 9 hours and he got like one piece of loot. He was grinding the same dungeon for 9 hours. He got one piece of loot, which is this guy's reaction though is priceless.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty funny.
We're gonna split. It's a common crafting material, by the way. That gold bar, right? It's literally garbage. And the other thing you got was like adventure tokens, which are pretty garbage. You get those, basically doing any of the dungeons anyway too. So literally splitting that 5 ways. Some absolutely garbage crafting gear. It's actually hilarious. I thought that clip was gold.
It's pretty funny. And so, okay, I heard like 2 weeks ago now that there was no end-game content, basically. I guess it's still true.
Yes, I still see a big issue with the game. And in fact, it's still leading to a lot of memes. Let me see if we can find another good blessed meme for you.
I remember way back in like 2011 or 2012 when Star Wars Old Republic came out. Back then, people were complaining about Star Wars not being having enough endgame. But that game compared to Bless, it's not even the same. It's not even the same like tier. There's so much more content in that game. Let me see. What is this?
It's another good blessed meme.
Bless Online prior to reaching max level. Bless Online 5 days at max.
There's no end game, boys. Ripperino. There's a lot of good memes on the Bless subreddit.
Oh, I wouldn't even agree with the left one. You know,
It'd be the left one would be like Bless Online prior to actually playing it, right? When you
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
about the hype, that's hype leading up to Bless Online. The right side is like mostly after after you log in for the first time.
there you go.
That's how I would view that personally. But one more thing about Bless, which is kind of maybe a broader discussion about MMORPG PvP. I thought this was pretty cool though. This was Bless Online PvP over the weekend. So there
God.
is still some large scale PvP going on in the game, and the concept of large scale PvP like this, it doesn't really exist anywhere outside
Holy
of MMORPG.
moly!
Is that kind of cool though?
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
This is like world PvP in the game too, so it's not just like in the battlegrounds. The game is adding 70 versus 70 battlegrounds as well, which is its own thing. And Bless has a lot of problems, but this experience of large scale PvP, we've seen there are clips of World of Warcraft. I think you can find some in Cabal. Like a lot of old games have this style of PvP as well, but this is I think an exclusively MMORPG concept.
Yep.
So Guild Wars 2's got their world PvP as well. Personally, I'm not really a fan of like the crazy massive PvP like this because it kind of leads to like a Zerg fest where it feels like individual players can't have that much impact. But it's still one of the few things that MMORPGs have that like other genres simply don't. It's kind of neat.
That is kind of true. Yeah. And I think even though each player can't have a large impact, I still think it's valuable because just like I think it teaches a lesson that you don't get in games that often. That just like in the real world, people always laugh at the manager not doing anything, haha. But the most important skill in the real world too is just organizing a large group of people and getting them all to do one simple thing. If everyone does one thing right at the right time, it can have you can win any battle, and that's what these games teach you that you don't learn in smaller scale games. It's not about individual skill. It's just about showing up. It's about doing your one task. If you're a healer, you just spam your one heal. If you're like the AoE guy, you spam your one AoE, and that's it. If everybody can just do their one task at the right time and all show up, that's how you win. That's how you get ahead. So
and the guy who organized it will make sure those people get online. Make sure everyone knows when to get on, what to do.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. I think, and that's what I miss about 40-man WoW raids too. I know a lot of people have said things like, "Well, the mechanics were so simple back then. It was it was a tank and spank, and it was just a matter of like a gear check or just all showing But the thing is, that's what life is like. Life is not this epic raid boss where you're dodging these circles on the ground or lava from the ceiling every 3 seconds. Real life is 99% just showing up, and just clicking one button, in the office or wherever it is. That's life. And it's not easy. Most WoW guilds, right? Most people never cleared MC, let alone Blackwing Lair and AQ40, right? Even MC was out of the reach of most players. Not because they didn't have the skill to do it, but they couldn't get into a guild that could organize 40 people to show up on Friday evening for 4 hours and sit there and push one button. You just couldn't do it.
That's actually a really interesting analogy to life, and I think it does make a lot of sense because looking back at a lot of those old WoW fights, they really were very easy in their core. The mechanics required to like pull off those like WoW fights were very minimal. Like most of the players didn't have to do anything. They basically attack.
Oh yeah.
They just, like I remember, like if you one of the first few fights in Molten Core, like if you're a ranged DPS, you literally have to dodge nothing.
Yeah.
The entire fight, you would just basically shoot the boss doing your DPS combos, and that's it. There was no like mechanics to dodge, nothing to do. But most players never completed WoW, like old school WoW raids, and I think just showing up on time is 90% of the effort. 90% of the job, basically.
Definitely. My job in WoW in MC, I was a healer. Okay, so it was 40 people. So as one of many healers, my job wasn't even to keep everybody alive. My job was I had a certain number of people assigned to me, right? I had to throw heals on the main tank along with everyone else, and if any of these other guys on the side lost HP, I had to keep them alive. That was it. So it was like a worker in a factory or something. My job wasn't to keep the whole factory running. My job was to keep my one assembly line going. And everyone had this own role, and we all showed up, and we didn't have to dodge rectiles. We didn't have to do all these crazy mechanics. That's it.
What's crazy is that it shows you that managing this was more difficult than the current content, because if you look at WoW rating today with 20 mans, or even Final Fantasy 14 rating with 8 mans, the clear rates for content are much higher today. It's much more people are clearing the highest tier raids in Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft than they did back in vanilla WoW with Blackwing Lair, with Naxxramas. More people are clearing it, and more people are clearing it today with more complex mechanics. So a lot of the fight was actually just coordinating 40 people, just getting those people to show up, and people not to DC or AFK or take a piss at the wrong times. Like that was such a big part of the fight. That was the harder part of the fight than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, and
It was more difficult than mechanics.
the clear rates in Final Fantasy, right? I watch
Yeah.
more play sometimes. Like people are moving around, jumping around, doing
Mhm.
all this crap. That's not impressive in the real world. Oh, Eugens, thank you for the sub. Dropping by. Bless was also more of a letdown than Kim Jong Un ending the world. Trump saved us, guys, from the apocalypse. Praise Trump.
There you go. Of course.
Yeah, but what was I saying? Basically, yes. I guess what something kids have to grow out of is talent is not that impressive. Everyone, everyone can clear those Final Fantasy raids because they're 8 men, right?
Yeah.
So that requires, I think, more skill than a WoW raid.
Yeah.
Whereas the WoW raid just requires persistence and scheduling, basically, and people fail at that. Even people with talent fail at scheduling, managing their time, their schedule, and showing up. They can't do it. Most people.
Mm-hmm.
And those skills, I think, are more important, especially for an MMO with social experience, than just kiting a bomb and jumping up and down.
That's fair. Putting the time, trying to show up in time. Yeah, that's interesting. That how much MMORPG raids have changed over the years, from more scheduling to actually just doing mechanics themselves. Arguably, I think raiding is more fun the way it is today. Because I remember, my old raid in Molten Core, the actual encounters were just not fun. Really, it was actually very tedious. I think it's more engaging now, much more engaging now. Fun, despite being easier overall.
When I watch you do a raid, first of all, you queue in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do a party finder, yeah. Basically a form of queuing.
Yeah, a pug, basically, right?
Yeah, pug, yeah.
And often you're not even on voice chat with these people.
No, you don't have to be.
Okay, so
Here's the thing. Actually, most groups say like voice chat required, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, I joined like a lot of groups don't say anything, but then a lot of people hop on voice chat. I never joined voice chat because ultimately the way the fights are set up is if you know what you're doing, you never need to talk to somebody in the fights. There's like no coordination required.
I think it's
right?
bad design. I think it's bad design.
To a degree, I think you're right as well. I think the fights should require more coordination.
Yeah.
A lot of the fights have actually a lot of piece of individual like things. Whereas the ultimate difficult content Final Fantasy 14 does require more coordination. But a lot of the regular raids, none of you have to be on voice chat to complete, which is really bizarre. Because normally you should have to coordinate what you're supposed to do and when you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Like I remember in WoW and stuff, like the first 10 minutes of a fight before it began was one guy yelling at everyone in an event, like, "Okay, guys, Group A is here, B is here. Don't do this, do this." Like, and then he had to check if everyone was there. Bio break with 40 people, guys. I don't know if you guys are I don't know if you guys played WoW back in the day, or EverQuest even had bigger raids than at 100. Because there was no instances in EQ, so it was world bosses with up to 100 players.
Yeah.
Just getting everyone ready checked, was an endeavor. You'd always have people AFK when the fight started, no matter how hard you try. Like there'd always be one guy who's pick up the phone, went to the bathroom.
With 40 to 100 players, that was inevitable. I know we showed off a clip of a world boss in EverQuest. It was like actually the most boring fight. It was like 30 minutes long of everyone just auto tagging. There's like no mechanics to dodge. It was literally just auto tags. And then I think they all lost, which is pretty funny. But like the fight designs definitely got more exciting and interesting. But it would have been cool to see like that happen alongside like 40-man rage or something, or something just more impressive. And I think the ultimate tier difficulty in Final Fantasy 14 is cool, but I still wish they had like some kind of content in the game that no one's been able to clear. Like, can you design a fight where it's so difficult but still doable that maybe it takes like a team of dedicated players like 6 months to complete? Like, do you think that's doable?
Well, like I said, I think I don't know exactly what the Ultima raids or whatever in EverQuest in Final Fantasy are going for, but I think we just picked. We discussed the topic of two different kinds of challenge. Mm-hmm. One is the technical challenge, right, which I think is what Final Fantasy does, versus the more coordination challenge in older games. So I hope maybe one day Final Fantasy can add something that requires more coordination rather than technical skill on each part.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
That'd be fun.
It just there's something about seeing like raids and like these fights go down so quickly. I mean, even for Ultimate Tier Dungeon, like these guys obviously work their asses off playing nonstop, and they're some of the world's best players for 6 days to clear it. But there's something about that just being cleared a little too quickly, which is kind of weird because even in Final Fantasy 14, the non-ultimate content, like the regular raiding content that came out during the Alexander patches, which I think was during Heaven's Ward, so about like a year and a half ago or so. 2 years ago, I forgot, a year and a half ago or so. Like, so there were some things in that fight that took over 30 days to clear, if I remember correctly. Like, and then they nerfed it to make it easier. But it took 30 days for normal raids. And then now they're releasing content specifically designed to be like insanely difficult, and it still gets cleared faster than their earlier content. And we're not reaching back to like 10 years ago where nobody had YouTube or guides. People had guides and YouTube back then as well. So it's just weird to see, like, I'm glad we still have the ultimate content, but it just seems like as a whole, we're still going way, way closer to more casual.
So, okay, wouldn't it be fun then for the next ultimate level tier in Final Fantasy to be like 16-man, 32-man? Is that possible?
Well, it is possible because they actually have 24-man raids, which are basically just free gear for everyone, right? And it's basically you can clear the 24-man with like half the players. Half people can go AFK clear, right? Because they're designed to be free gear for everyone. I refer to them as because at the end of the dungeon you get like a coin. I call it the welfare office because at the end of the dungeon you get a coin that you can trade in for like the most powerful gear in the game, and they give it to everyone. And they always release that kind of like mid-patch where people can just catch up and get all the free shit that they weren't able to get through the raids. Even though most people get all their epic gear through this process, through the welfare coins, they get the best gear in the game.
Welfare coins.
But then these fights are actually really interesting because they're 24-man fights. They're designed around 24 players, and sometimes you have three full groups. Each group has to do like a different thing sometimes, right? They kind of split the party up. Everyone can do different things. Some of the boss fights are really interesting concepts with tons of players on the screen at once, but they're just designed so easily and piss poorly that like it really like the last 24-man in Rabanaste, there was the end of the boss had like some really cool fight where like you had to either do the opposite of what the boss says or what he says, right? And depending on like what symbols are on the screen, right? What I would do is I would just ignore that entirely and just keep casting spells. Because sometimes you gotta turn around, look to the left, look to the right, do the opposite of what he says. But it didn't matter because if you didn't do what he said, you took a small bit of damage. Where like if you actually follow the mechanics, you would just lose DPS for no reason. You could literally just ignore all the mechanics and just do damage.
That's fine.
Most of the fights end up being you don't have to ever know the mechanics because it never matters. But the mechanics are there. They're pretty interestingly. They have really cool designs around them. But you don't have to actually know what they do because it was never made to be difficult. If they design a 24-man, like if they made ultimate content like with a 24-man raid, that would be really cool in my eyes. Like that would be really interesting. But the coordinate 24 players, it would be. They've never done that before. I would love to see it though.
Yeah, me
like
too.
An ultimate tier 24-man dungeon would be epic.
Yeah, I think it's easier to design that too than an 8-person technical challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Probably.
Like, you could make the actual difficulty
Fight
lower.
easier,
yeah, but just the fact that you need 24 plus people to be there doing their role, and if one of them doesn't, right? And remember, these are guilds. I think it'd be more challenging for the guilds for that reason.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It just raids have not been going that way anyway, which is unfortunate. Another reason why maybe multiple servers. I still think the idea of remember with the MapleStory lab servers with some kind of community servers would be the ultimate like resurgence of MMORPGs. I could just imagine players designing some fights, and the beauty is like games like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, and basically any MMORPG already have all these mechanics in the game, right? Like they have, like if you had a boss fight builder built into World of Warcraft for like on their dev kit, sometimes kind of tools you can use mechanics from previous fights, set the timings whatever you want, and make players make their own challenges, even with no loot. It would be such an interesting experience to see what people come up with. It's like, the Super Mario Builder, like people make their own Mario World levels, like shit like that. And all the tools are already there. You have all the in-game animations and graphics, and really you can just mix and match basically attacks from previous bosses and mechanics. I mean, it may be a little bit like odd because you'd be seeing weird animations don't really fit with the theme. I think it would just open like the Pandora's box for creativity. There'd be so much shit going on that it would keep players busy forever.
Yeah, we had to talk, but I think that idea was floated by things like EverQuest Next, but it just
they never did it though.
I think we gotta wait for Spatial OS. That's gonna save the day and require,
that's the one. That's the one.
Persistence along with the whole Minecraft spiel. Hopefully one day.
It's funny, I got tired of looking for something else, but I can always go back. I can relapse back to WoW or play one of the private servers. The beauty of WoW private servers, you have a lot of custom content on there as well. It's always good.
Well, Derpy, don't forget, guys. There's a new expansion coming out for WoW this August, and I think next year we're gonna see the official vanilla server. So you got some options there.
Indeed. Not much else going on really in the actual MMO world. I mean, you have Wild West Online doing a free trial, but that game is dead. Do you remember that game was first announced? There was like all this hype about it being like it's gonna be like Red Dead Redemption, but online. And then everyone realized it was by the guy who made was it War Z? That Sergey Titov guy, and then it's totally dead. They're doing a free trial on June 15th, and anyone can play the game for free at level 20. But this game is dead. There's like 30 players online. There's no chance. This game is done, though. The cash grab is over.
Rip.
Is that too many other MMOs coming out on the horizon here?
We got another Elder Scrolls game. This is another mobile game, Blades. Did you see that?
Yes. It didn't look terrible, but I don't know what to think of it. They said it's gonna be a full-scale Elder Scrolls game on mobile, but when it's on mobile, you automatically assume like not hardcore at all. But it graphically looked nice. But I'm gonna reserve judgment till I actually play it.
What I found most interesting about Elder Scrolls Online was not the fact that it's playable on mobile, but that it's going to be cross-platform on everything. So it's going to be on consoles, it's going to be on PCs, it's going to be on VR. So you could be playing this on your VR set against somebody playing on their phone.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder what the combat will be like between the two.
I just can't imagine the combat being so intuitive with mobile, with just clicking left or right. I don't know. I saw this live. I watched the Bethesda conference, but I was not too hyped for this at all. And they're like, oh, you can make it portrait mode as well, so it looks like you're doing work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It looks so silly. When I hear mobile, I hear microtransactions and dollar signs. I mean, there's dollar signs on mobile games as well. It's just, I guess, more evident on mobile titles. Yeah, that mobile cash grab is gonna make money though. Iantex. I'm not gonna play it, but people definitely will.
Indeed.
I mean, Camelot Unchained is actually around the corner. We can at least look forward to that. That's one like actual crowdfunding MMORPG. They're aiming for some kind of their beta 1 on July 4th is their self-imposed deadline. And they came out this last week and said basically we are on track to meet it, though just barely, whatever that means. So at least they're on track to meet it, and hopefully we'll actually that's right around the corner. That's a couple weeks. You're looking for gameplay, right? You're not gonna find anything in 2018. I was actually looking for a gameplay. The only gameplay video I could find for Camelot Unchained was their 2016 DragonCon video. So if you go to their search DragonCon, you'll find some gameplay over there.
Before
it's
that,
just weird that
how cute is this little 22 days till beta animation?
I like it. I'm hyped to try it. At least we'll be able to play something then. Because this game has been coming soon forever. What the Kickstarter was what, like in 2013? This game's been developed for like over 5 years. This has been in the works forever. So we can finally at least play something, on beta 1. And they just raised more money recently too, so this is gonna happen. They have the money to make it happen.
Yep. This is by the guys who made Dayok, so I'm gonna give it a shot. But
what's weird is I couldn't find any gameplay besides this video you're seeing right now, the DragonCon. Like, why are they showing off more gameplay besides this footage from 2 years ago?
well, they don't want to
That's
disappoint
what's
anyone.
bizarre.
Yeah.
This is like the only video I could find for the game. It's really bizarre.
Well, only 22 days left, so we'll see it soon.
Another actually big thing from E3 worth mentioning is if you get Quake Champions right now on Steam, you can play it forever. It's free to play basically. It's weird because Quake Champions will be free to play at launch, right? But the early access costs money.
Oh my god.
They were doing with that model, right? But if you get the game on early access right now, it's free, and it's guaranteed to be free forever for you if you get it now. So if you never got it and you actually care about Quake Champions, now is the time to get it. I think it's free till June 18th. But what's remarkable is since going free, basically, since making the early access free, the player base has spiked up quite a bit. They're up to like over 10,000 players now. Actually, they're quite a bit more than that. Yeah, they peaked at 16,000 today, which is pretty crazy. And before they were peaking at 500, like at 900 to 1,000. So they're from 1,000 to basically 16,000 players since making that free to play.
We played this, right?
More players on it. Yeah, we played it, but I didn't really like it.
Really?
It's really bizarre. Yeah, I didn't like it. Because when you think an arena shooter, I think they're making the same mistake that Lawbreakers did. Like, I with Quake Champions, I don't want the hero abilities. I don't want to play a hero shooter. I want to play an arena shooter. I want to play a modern version of Quake 3. I don't want every single hero to be different, to be slightly different stats. I want to make them visually different, fine. But I want to go around the arena, find guns, and shoot each other, which you can do in this game. You can find different weapons across the map. That's all cool. But the hero shooter elements of Quake Champions just wasn't my cup of tea. I'd actually much rather play Quake 3. Playing this made me want to play Quake 3. maybe I'm just old, but I don't think the hero shooter element added anything to this game.
You're right.
I think it feels slapped on almost because remember every character got slightly different armor and HP values. and different hitboxes, and they have like different abilities. Like you have one extra ability, special ability if you're playing one character versus another. But that's not what an arena shooter is about. So it's just weird that they decided to slap this on there.
It does look beautiful, and it does run smooth.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I tried it. I probably tried
Same.
it. Yeah, so I it's free now, so maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
We can try it on Friday or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we could. And the game has apparently really good netcode as well, so it's got that going for it. And it's still fast. It feels fast-paced too. The movement just feels kind of fast. So you still have that Quake movement in the game, and the Quake-style maps, and finding the health packs, and knowing the maps to find shotguns and gear. You know, it's neat. But I just wish they didn't have the hero shooter element, because honestly, if I want to play hero shooter, I'm gonna go play Overwatch.
Yeah, there's plenty of options for that.
If they just took the hero shooter element out, I think I'd have a lot more fun with it personally. But maybe I don't know. I don't see the appeal of the abilities at all. It just feel like it adds nothing to the game.
Indeed.
And I feel like this would be an optimal hero to play as well, like with the most HP maybe. Because some of the abilities felt kind of weak too. But maybe they balance it around a bit more. I do like that you can see the HP when you hit somebody, which is a nice touch. You know, I feel like other games don't really do that. You can see the HP values of the damage you're doing.
Oh, there's another.
Esports ready, boys.
Let me find what this game was. I've actually been playing a tower defense game on Steam. It's one of those games that's been out for a while, but just went free. It's called Fortified. And I was actually having a lot of fun with it. I played with an old friend of mine. I tried to get you to play more, but you were reluctant. I'm sure
I was playing a lot of Overwatch and Royale this week. Those have been my games this week.
This is a lot like Orcs Must Die, or there's another one with the wizards. What's it called?
Magica?
No. Oh, it's like you build traps. There's like 4 different classes.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's 2 of them too.
I somebody in the chat's gonna say it was a big game too.
Yeah.
Oh god, what was it? Somebody say it.
Dungeon Defenders, right?
Oh, there you go.
Dungeon Defenders. Yes.
Yeah, somebody said it, but I heard Altai say it before I saw it in chat.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, this game is a lot like Dungeon. If you enjoyed Dungeon Defenders or Orcs Must Die, that kind of game, give it a shot. Give this a play with your friends. It's called Fortified. It's the same spiel. You just build towers, and then you have like heroes with a gun, and you just defend against waves of aliens.
I think games like this tell you the success of games like this. This went free to play, for like a limited time, and it's got a lot of people. And over 100,000 people jump into it to get it because it was free for that. Just that, if you download it, you get it forever. It shows people like these co-op games, like Dungeon Defenders. This game, co-op works. There just really aren't that many co-op games out there. So make a co-op game, it'll do well. I think that's one that appeals at more PCs as well. I think it's one of the few co-op games, the co-op kinds of games. People want to play with their friends, not always against their friends. I prefer to kill my friends than play with them personally.
This came out in 2016, and I haven't heard about it until it went free and I saw it. So even games like this, which are the kind of games I enjoy, can really slip below the radar, even for somebody who's on the computer as long as I am.
Especially you also let gems like this slide too. I mean, this is there's a lot of gems out there just slip on right by.
Oh
right?
Yeah, all right. Well, we started with this in the pregame, so perhaps we can end on it as well. Steam has decided, guys, to stop moderating their own service. They put out an announcement saying anything that's not illegal legally, we will not take down anymore. Which has led to games like this, these asset flips and stuff being all over Steam now. LGBT Battlegrounds is now on Steam. There was a game called AIDS Simulator that was also on Steam.
Look, once they said that Battle Royale was not for sexual minorities, now this is not so. LGBT Battlegrounds should unite gays, lesbians, transsexuals, and bisexuals of all kinds. Look at this riveting story. But all the saved players in this are gays. It's a bunch of first-class gays can withstand and kill their fellow orientation. That is the description for this game. It's just nonsense. It's just like broken English. A battle royale for the LGBT community.
Yeah. So I know you're a free speech kind of guy, right? So
yeah.
Do you think I'm also for free speech, but it comes with you got to take responsibility for what you say or what you do.
Yeah, of course.
I think Steam should be judged on what they decide to allow on their platform.
No, think of it this way. Like the Reddit homepage, right? Anyone can submit content on Reddit, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of garbage content that goes on Reddit, like awful links, spam links, literally just virus links go on Reddit, right? But you never see them. Why? It's not because Reddit doesn't allow them. It's because they get downvoted.
No. Reddit deletes communities. Like there was
yeah, they delete communities. I know, but generally
hate porn one or something, revenge porn, whatever it's called.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I know, but that's only when they get like massive media attention, right? They end up deleting them. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not saying Reddit is the perfect bastion for free speech or anything, but what I'm saying is the community created content, player created content, unfiltered, generally unfiltered stuff. You never see like the virus links on the front page of Reddit. Why? It's because it gets downvoted or it gets
the
lost
virus links get deleted too. By the way, that you reported. I don't think Reddit's policy is to allow links to viruses at
No, sure, I know.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
Fine, maybe I'll rephrase it. Like if you go like are funny, a lot of like the dumb pictures that aren't funny don't make it there. Why? Like the low effort humor doesn't make it to the front page. Arguably all of it's low effort humor, but like the really bad content that doesn't make it there. Just like I think a lot of the garbage games that are allowed on the Steam platform will get lost on the Steam platform because people will have systems where they can downvote it or something, right?
But
where the more interesting games will get exposure. Well, I don't know they have it today, but the system works, I think. And sites like Reddit, which are built on entirely on user-created content, kind of prove it to a degree because you don't see a lot of garbage content on the front page of your favorite subreddits. It's generally the community curation ends up working. And right now, I don't know if Steam doesn't have a good process for community curation. They have like players can make their own like list and stuff, but there's got to be some kind of upvote system too. But then it can obviously be gamed as well then. But generally, I think it can work.
It can work, but they need stronger filters. I remember, right now I'm not logged in on Steam on the browser you guys are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps for people not logged in who opt into shit like this, it should just be invisible. Like I shouldn't be able to see this
Maybe.
by default. It should just link me to the homepage.
Ideally, it should be so hidden that you'll never find it unless you're looking for it.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause
exactly.
It's Duke, you know? But the filters and the players should recognize it's Duke and downvote it, and then you'll be fine that way.
Indeed. But
Yeah.
okay, so you don't think, presumably, you don't think companies like Reddit or even YouTube or comment sections have a responsibility to filter spam? This game is literally spam, by the way, guys. I know it's called LGBT Battlegrounds, but nothing in this game has anything to do with LGBT. It's basically a Unity pre-built asset to like test Battlegrounds. So if you look at these screenshots, you know, it says like set farmer, soldier, police. There's, you know, nothing in this game
Yeah,
is
nothing.
anything.
It's garbage.
He just re-uploaded an existing
course.
file and just named it this. So this is basic, for all intents and purposes, this is spam. This isn't like a
course.
political commentary. It's spam.
It's nothing, I know.
So I do think this platform, Steam, has a responsibility to filter spam. The same way if you go below our video on YouTube, and let's say 1,000 comments were all like, hey, I work for Google, I make $5,000 a day from home, click this link. You'd be mad, right? If you just a billion of those appearing every day, you know, you'd be like, hey, YouTube, fix this. What are you doing? I don't want to manually delete these.
But look at the flip side. Look at YouTube, for example. Anyone can upload videos to YouTube, right? And there's a lot of garbage videos that people upload basically like of like nothing happening, like their room, and there's no movement, right? Or some kid screaming to his mic on YouTube, right? It's so much of that is on there, right?
Yes.
But through the chaos comes like useful content, right? And you don't need to delete the videos of the kid screaming. And there's no need for like, who cares? Let the kid upload a video of him screaming. Let LGBT Battlegrounds asset flip garbage games go on there. At the end of the day, there's some kind of system and filters where what you see is based on what other people recommend. It ends up working just fine, where the garbage content will not get seen. I think that's the best way to do it. Because otherwise, I know we have different positions on this too, but I think a lot of the visual novels and anime porn games generally on there, I think it's good for, why not let it go, right? I think they should allow it. Because what happens right now is they were required to filter it, right? Because Steam didn't want any sexual content, right? So they would basically add a filter to the game where you can't see any of the nude stuff, and then in the game's like README file is a link to get uncensor the game. Like there's a process to uncensor the game that you buy on Steam, and everyone just does that anyway who buys those kinds of games. Like that, they're not doing it. Like, why? What's even the point? If someone wants to play this anime titty game, play your goddamn anime titty game. Like who cares?
Well, I would do then what Reddit does, for example, where instead of being able to go to each page and buy it, I would require for you to log in first of all to your Steam account, verify your age on your Steam account, and then you can see those games. Otherwise, they're blurred out. Like they are. If you go to a not safe for work thing on
that's fine, yeah.
Reddit, it's like blurred and it says you over 18 or whatever.
Yeah, that's ultimately. I don't think it's. They should set up reasonable filters and ways to browse Steam and let everything on there. And I think everything goes is generally a good idea. And look, the YouTube YouTube was built on everything goes. Reddit was generally built on everything goes, and then they added some moderation stuff, right?
They banned our incel more.
But there's still porn and stuff on Reddit too, and before Steam was taking a stance against any kind of like nudity and stuff like that. I'm glad that they got rid of those filters. I think it's gonna be better for the whole thing.
We shall see. Well, also it depends on what they want to be. So this is revealing what Steam wants to be. YouTube, like you said, wants to be for everyone.
Yeah.
I think when Steam launched initially, that wasn't their goal. They wanted to be a platform, digital distribution for certain PC games, high quality ones. Now they're kind of being like an open platform, like an app store almost, like Google Play Store, where anyone can upload anything. But I do think it's gonna bite them in the butt if Steam becomes a storefront for everything. And they even have software now, if you noticed, this. Okay. At that point, I think Microsoft is going to see them as a challenger. I know Microsoft is entering the market now with their Microsoft Store that everybody hates. But there's a very real concern, I think, for Steam that if they try to do everything, be the one stop for all programs, right? Imagine in the future you want to get Photoshop, you go to Steam. You want to get like Firefox, you download it from Steam. I think Microsoft will see them as a competitor. A big enough competitor, and just go after them then.
Maybe. Regardless, I think it's good for Steam. Somebody mentioned in the chat, he never used Steam for any of my Arrow games because he's downloaded third-party patches to look at nudes. There you go. See, but that doesn't help anybody. But I think now you'll be able to download your Arrow games and VN games and get the full-blown uncensored experience. All right. And Altai hates anime titties, and he wants to take that away from you. Is what I'm learning from this conversation.
If I was Steam, my idea for Steam wouldn't have a place for those kind of things, but it also wouldn't have a place for like photo editing software either. It's just not my, what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
I have to ask you once again, why do you hate anime titties?
I don't think it's Steam is the right platform for that stuff. Wow. But again, it's up to them what they want to do.
Look at this Puritan. Look at this. Why not? You don't have to play those games though, and they can have a age verification.
Well, I also don't have to use.
Why are those games any less pure than like any other kind of games that you like?
I'm not talking about pure game. What about this accounting? Steam has accounting software.
Who cares? You don't have to buy it. Why not put it on there? On the software section.
Take this. Imagine you want to open like an ice cream store, and then someone walks in and says, if you sell staplers on the side, you have an empty counter here. Why don't you sell staplers at your ice cream store? You'd be like, what? No.
Now you're looking at a physical like store versus the infinite real estate space of the Steam storefront.
Just because it's infinite space doesn't mean you want to sell everything there. It's all about differentiating yourself, making a brand for yourself. Like when I think Steam, when you think Steam, what do you think of? Games, right?
Anime tits?
No, you don't think of anime tits. You think of games.
I'm thinking of anime tits right now.
Oh my. Anyway, for me, it's about what the identity of the platform. There should be a separate. It's like Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is a place you stream anime. Now imagine you work at Crunchyroll, and I come up to you and go, I want to add Friends. The sitcom Friends. Yeah. I want to stream it on Crunchyroll. People on Crunchyroll will be mad, right? Like, what the fuck is this? Why is this here? And people like you would say, well, why not? It's everything. It's digital. It's everything.
Hold on. I think if they added a section for doesn't Crunchyroll have a section for like Korean dramas and J dramas? I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But even that
who
fits.
Cares then?
No, because if their whole theme is like this, Asian stuff coming to like a Western audience. If they just had a section for Friends and How I Met Your Mother, I think.
Why not? I think it'd be fine.
Okay, you would think it's fine, but I would argue a lot of the fan of Crunchyroll would be against that, for the same reason that I'm against accounting software and anime titties on Steam.
But a lot of these Asian dramas are like just the same. The Asian sitcoms are okay, but not American sitcoms. I don't think they would care.
I think I don't know how we can pull this. Anyone out there a Crunchyroll fan? If there was like you go to on the front page one day on Crunchyroll, there's just Friends or like How I Met Your Mother.
They don't put any of that shit on the front page though.
What?
They have an anime section and a drama section. If they put like a Western section, I don't think anyone's gonna care.
I think
it'd be a different tab.
I don't think they'll like revolt and kill people, but they would be against it. Maybe. The concept of it. This is not the place for this. They would think.
But I don't think you're making a more drastic differentiation than necessary. I think there's a lot of like overlap between people who play video games on Steam and people who like anime titties. Am I wrong?
I think so. Certain games.
There's a lot of crossover.
I think the guys who play like Counter-Strike or PUBG, not really, but the guys who play like Final Fantasy, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, depends on the kind of game.
So the crossover is there already. So why not, have the games with anime titties?
I don't think it's a strong crossover. I mean, well, that's like saying, why don't they just anime here too on Steam? You go to Steam, you can just buy anime.
What % of our viewers like anime titties? Raise your hand.
It's not about what percent of our users like Amazon, like buying stuff on Amazon. Should I just buy stuff on Steam too? Like I just go and there's like I can order toilet paper. Do you like toilet? Who here likes toilet paper?
Amazon sells everything, toilet paper, everything.
No, but should Steam have a section where you can buy toilet paper and they ship it to your address?
Quick poll for anime titties. I like anime thighs mostly. Maybe anime toes. Nice. The point. Look, these kinds of games. Just because it's some like but there's still games. There's still story-driven experiences. Like it's saying the soft. I think you make a small point with the software, with like accounting software.
Oh my God! What you
and
hate?
computing software.
You hate? What do you have against software? Oh my God!
I don't. I think
I
it's
want
fine to have
accounting
it there,
software.
but
Okay.
I understand that perspective more. These are
Okay.
different kinds of games. They're within the same genre. Software is a little bit different.
What's different? Are games not
It's not a
software?
game.
Games are software. How
They're-
dare
they're-
you?
they're
How
more
dare you, sir?
utilities.
So I would argue a lot of those books or whatever, the ebook, those anime books or whatever, you just go like ABC down the line. Those are like comic books basically, right? What comic? What about Marvel Infinity War? What if Steam added a section called comic books? You just like click the next page, and you read like Spider-Man or manga. And they could do it, right? It's digital,
Yeah.
but it's not the identity of the site, man. That's all I'm saying.
For the record, we have 92% votes on yay for anime titties. I think case closed, boys.
Case closed.
Case closed. All right. I think Valve made the right decision. Let free the anime titties.
I think the only way to stand out from the crowd is having an identity, which means by definition narrowing your focus on something, right? Certain things, and I think Steam should do that before it's too late. If they just become a one-stop shop for everything online, they're gonna be consumed by Microsoft. Microsoft is gonna just say, okay, if you use Windows, you have to use the Microsoft Store. The same way, like if you use Android, you got to use Google Play Store. If you use Apple iPhone, you got to use Apple's App Store. Microsoft, I think, is gonna force everyone to download stuff from their store.
That should happen regardless of what Steam does. I don't think that's contingent on if Steam continues this path or not.
I think in a way it is, because if they stay there focused on a small sliver, which is gaming, that's not enough to attract Microsoft's ire, and shut them off. But if they try to just be like, okay, we'll go, you buy Windows, and then everything you do after that is us, and we get 30% of it. Microsoft will be like, no, wait a minute, that's not a good deal.
Fair.
All right. Well, that one vote is out. I didn't even vote anymore.
I'm just memeing. Probably
Alright.
somebody else.
Yeah, no. All right. Well, that was a good discussion at the end there. I think
Fair.
Yeah. All right, guys.
We learned that Altai hates anime titties.
That's the conclusion that we've drawn.
That's the conclusion.
Omar loves LGBT Battlegrounds. That's what we learned.
That's my favorite game. My favorite game. Put it on there. Quote me. LGBT Battlegrounds. Be my favorite game.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more in the post game. But if you're on YouTube, that's it for you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Later for you two. I have a good clip I wanted to show you, Altai.
1 sec.